Hello and welcome to the University of South Carolina. My name is Robby Lybrand. I am one of the chef instructors here for the College of Hospitality, Retail, and Sport Management. We are in the Marriott Culinary Laboratory right now, and we're going to do a great demo for you today. One of our signature dishes here in South Carolina. It is shrimp and grits. And I think it's something that you're really going to enjoy. It's something that that you can easily make at home, just as easy as we can in our restaurants. So we're going to put all the pieces together. I'm going to walk you through and show you exactly how we make it. So the first thing that we want to do, I've got a cast iron skillet here. The pan is heating up. I like to use the cast iron because it's going to give us nice even heat all around the pan, and it's going to help everything to cook really nice and evenly. I have some diced bacon here, so this is just some uncooked bacon. We're going to put this in our pan, and we're going to render that down. We're going to render this down and cook the fat out of it. And we're going to use the fat to saute all our vegetables. We're also going to use the bacon as part of the garnish to go on top of the dish after we get finished. So we're going to start cooking our bacon down. We're at about a medium heat here. So we're going to let this cook down. It'll take it just a couple of minutes to cook the fat out of it. So as that cooks, obviously we have to have grits to go along with our shrimp and grits. So I went ahead and made a pot of grits, and I did this ahead of time because they take a little bit of time to cook. So grits is just a ground corn, and we put 4 parts of liquid to 1 part grits for this particular recipe. So I use chicken stock instead of just using plain water. Anywhere where we can add a little bit of flavor, we always want to be able to do that. So I added some chicken stock in here. So we've got our 4 parts chicken stock. We brought that to a boil. We added our grits, and then we just let it simmer. And it takes it about 20 minutes to simmer. We'll stir this around a little bit. It takes it about 20 minutes to simmer and fully cook those grits. And then we finish it off with just a little bit of heavy cream at the end. So we end up with these really nice creamy grits. We didn't add any salt to these. Normally, if we were making it and just eating grits by themselves, we would add some salt, maybe some other seasonings. But because there's going to be so many different seasonings that are going into our shrimp and grits, we don't add any salt here because we don't want the dish to be over salty. So we've got our bacon now cooking down. It's looking nice. It's starting to cook that fat out, which is really, really good. We've got some other ingredients that are going to be going into our dish. So this is just a smoked sausage, an andouille sausage. So we've just sliced that up. That's going to add a ton of flavor. We have green onions and minced garlic, and this is the white part of a green onion. So if this is your scallion or your green onion, we cut the little root end off, and then we cut all of this up right here. And that's what's in our dish here. That's going to go in at 1 part. Now we're going to use all the rest of this as well, and that's what's right here. And it's going to be part of our garnish at the end. Okay, so we're going to make sure we're using every bit of everything we have here. Don't want to waste anything. We've also got a red bell pepper that we just julienned up. So it's just a nice thin strips of the julienne bell pepper. We have a seasoning, a seafood seasoning. This is called Old Bay. So we've got our Old Bay right here. That'll go in kind of towards the end. And then, of course, we've got our shrimp. These shrimp have had the tails removed and have had the shells removed, and then they've been deveined. So that mud vein has been removed from those shrimp, and they're ready to go. It's going to be really easy for our customers to eat them. It's going to be, they don't have to worry about the shells or anything like that. So our bacon's coming along very nice here. It's almost ready. So we're over about a medium to medium high heat. And then a couple other things we have. So we have some heavy cream that's going to finish it out. It's going to help make our sauce. And then right at the very top, after we plate our dish up, we're going to put just some shredded cheddar cheese on top of that. So that's a nice aged cheddar that we shredded up, and it's going to go right on top. So our bacon's looking really, really good here. Really want to make sure that we cook this down. And as you can probably tell a little bit in the pan, we're getting all the grease, all the fat cooking out of the bacon. And that's what's going to help us when we saute everything else. And so now that our bacon's cooked down, we've got a fair amount of the fat in here. We're going to take it out. We're just going to use a slotted spoon so we can drain off any extra fat. And we're just going to get all these little bacon pieces out of our pan. All right, so we're going to save that. We're still going to use all of that. Now we're going to start building our sauce. So we're going to add our sausage. And this is very much a one-pot dish. So our sausage goes in. We're going to brown it up, get it nice and seared off in our pan here on both sides. We're also going to add our green onions and our garlic. So that's about a tablespoon of garlic. And we're just going to let this kind of cook together, start browning off a little bit. We want to be careful. We don't want to burn our garlic. We want to get it nice and fragrant, though. We want to give it a minute to actually cook in the pan. And now we're going to be ready to add our bell peppers. And our bell peppers are going to go in like so. And we want to give those just a couple of minutes because we want them to start softening up some. And what we're doing is we're adding these different ingredients in here. We're just building levels of flavor for our sauce and for our final dish. So the sausage is already a cooked sausage, which means we're really just trying to sear it off and get some nice color to it and get it warmed all the way through. And the bell peppers, we just want to kind of get those, start getting those soft. We don't want them to be mushy. We want them to be just nice and soft for us, okay? But we don't want them to be real mushy. We want them to have a little bit of texture to them. So at this point, we're ready to add our shrimp. And we're going to add our shrimp straight in to our pan. And we're going to cook these for just a second before we start to add our seasoning. So we're going to get these, let them kind of sear off real nice. There we go. Give them a second to kind of sear off real nice in that cast iron pan over about a medium heat. We want to be careful at this point because we don't want to overcook our shrimp. So now we're going to take a couple tablespoons, maybe 3, of our seasoning. So we'll put a couple tablespoons in to start with. And remember, we can always add more. If we don't, if we taste it and we don't like the taste, we want a little bit more seasoning, we can always add more to it. So we're going to bring all this together, mix it around for just a moment. And now is when we add our cream. Okay. Now is when we're going to add our cream. And we're going to bring all this together. Now this is going to be what makes our sauce here. So we've got our cream, and it's going to kind of reduce down a little bit. So we added about half a cup of our heavy cream. And we're just going to kind of get all our shrimp and all our sausage into our pan, down into the cream. And we're just going to kind of give it a little shake and then let it simmer for a little bit. We're going to give it just a couple of minutes to simmer, and we're going to finish cooking those shrimp. Now we know we have to cook shrimp to 145 degrees because it's seafood, but we can also tell without taking the temperature when the shrimp start to close up. So if it's the tail and where the head was, when it starts to close up, we know that those guys are getting cooked and that they're at their correct temperature. Okay, so we're going to let all that come together. And we will just kind of flip them over if we need to make sure they're getting cooked on both sides. We can grab our plate that we're going to plate everything up with. You can also do this in a bowl. I don't mind a plate though. So nice big scoop of our grits right in the center of our plate. And then once our sauce is kind of thickened up, we can tell it's thickened up. We can tell our shrimp have cooked really nice. We're just going to plate this up. So we're going to get some of our shrimp, some of our peppers, our sausage, all of that is going to go right on top. We got to make sure we work so hard to build the flavors in that sauce. So we got to make sure that we get some of that sauce on there. But we're not done yet, right? We're not done yet. So we're going to take a little bit of cheddar cheese right on top. The tops of our green onions, our scallions, goes right on top of that. And then we finish it with this crispy bacon that we cooked off to begin with. Just like that. Very nice, very nice. And that's our final dish. That's our famous Lowcountry South Carolina shrimp and grits. Now, depending on where you go in South Carolina, kind of depends on how they make their shrimp and grits. This is one way of doing it with a cream sauce. Sometimes you'll see it with a brown gravy. I've even seen it with a butter sauce before. So there's many different varieties of how we do it. This is just one way. It's the way I really like it. And I think if you give it a try, you'll like it as well. So this is kind of the star of the show. This is the J. Willard and Alice S. Marriott Foundation Culinary Lab. We are fortunate to have this lab through a donation that their foundation made to our college, to our school, to build this facility. We have hospitality management students, and this might not look like a typical management classroom, but all of our students, all of our hospitality management students come through here and learn back of the house skills. So we not only teach them the cooking skills, so they will have an understanding of what's happening in the back of the house, it's what's happening in the kitchens that they may be managing, whether it's a hotel, a resort, a club, whatever it might be. So they have those cooking skills, but we also taught things like inventory and menu pricing, cost controls, all those different things are taught in this hands-on classroom. It's very state-of-the-art, and it's an excellent opportunity for our students to learn what exactly happens in a commercial kitchen, because a lot of our students have never walked into a commercial kitchen before, so they don't really know until they have this class, and this is an excellent opportunity for them to learn and to grow not only do we house our culinary classes here, we also do some of our beverage management classes in here as well. So between our demo kitchen and this area, we do things like mixology. We have a craft beer class where we brew beer in here. We have our wine classes and different things that all happen in here. Plus, we have a host of other elective classes such as club cuisine, cooking for two, things like that, nutrition classes that students can take and to kind of further their skills along the way. So we're very fortunate to have this space. We're very appreciative of the donation from the Marriott Foundation for allowing us to have this space and all this amazing equipment that we get to train our students in every single day. So when they go out into the industry, they will have been exposed to this and they will be ready for whatever the industry brings to them.